All right, what's up, y'all? We're back with another episode of Brutally Simple Cooking. Today we're doing pizza yolkerole with goat cheese. This is dairy-free. Let's begin. We get the start of the show. A whole 18 count of pasture-raised eggs. Always love to throw some chorizo in the mix. We got butter for greasing the dish, and we got some goat cheese. Let's do it. What we're gonna do is take a skillet, heat it up at medium-high heat. Now, pro tip, always ask for the ingredients for the chorizo because you never know. And pro tip, always eat the skin because it's good for you. And we're gonna squeeze out our chorizo. Of course, if you can get some chorizo by itself, not in the casing, that's great too. You'll notice I like to take the skin and cook it on the side over here, and I'll eat that as a little snack. What we like to do is let the yolk slip through the fingers. All right, now that the chorizo is done, we want to fish out these little skin pieces and eat them. All right, next we're going to add the chorizo, grease and all, to the egg yolks. Now, pro tip, don't waste the fat and grease because it's actually really good for you. All right, next we're gonna add about a cup of some good quality marinara sauce or tomato sauce. Now, pro tip, when you're reading the ingredient labels, always avoid soybean oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, and canola oil. All right, next, because this is dairy-free, we're gonna add in some leftover crumbled blue cheese. And I'm gonna try to blend this into the mixture. I've never done this before, actually. All right, and then for good measure, we're gonna add a little bit of salt. Even though the marinara sauce and the chorizo have some seasoning in it. And also some fresh pepper. And now we're gonna blend all this up. All right, now that that's nice and mixed, we're gonna evenly distribute this across our different containers, depending on how thin or thick you want it to be. Now you'll notice the meat kind of stays at the bottom of that, so you just want to distribute that as best you can as well. Now, pro tip, for a thin crust yolkerole, use more dishes. All right, now to settle this, we're gonna shake it just a little bit, see if we can distribute the meat. And now we're gonna add some pepperoni. Now we love pepperoni. You know why? Because traditionally cured meats are actually really good for you. They're not processed like most people say they are. They're actually fermented and cured, which is a traditional way of preserving meats, and it actually makes them a little bit more nutritious. Now, just like anything else, you wanna find something that's a decent quality. But you want to find a decent quality freaking broccoli and celery, you know? So, but in theory, in general, cured meats are actually awesome, especially fermented cured meats like prosciutto, pepperoni, and salami. Now, what I like to do as I'm doing this is I like to push the pepperoni down just a little bit so it gets some of the egg yolk stuff on it. And that way it kind of sets inside the yolkerole, and the pepperonis don't get too easy to kind of come off or peel off. All right. All right, now to top it off, because this is a goat cheese yolkerole pizza, dairy-free, we're gonna sprinkle on some crumbled goat cheese. As much as you like. All right, now we're gonna put these in the oven at 350 for as long as it takes to cook, usually about 35 minutes. All right, so check it out. It's been about 35, 40 minutes. I always like to check the bottom of the glass dish to see if it's a little bit brown on the bottom, because when you touch on the top, it's firm and you can tell it's cooked through. So let's check these things out. Oh yeah, absolutely gorgeous. And you can see we're starting to get some browning on the bottom there. So I'd say those are nice and done. If I touch it on the top, it's nice and firm. So I think we are good to go. All right, now look at these beauties. Now remember what we did here to keep it brutally simple. We have eggs, chorizo. Now pro tip, remember always ask for the ingredients on the chorizo. When it comes to eggs, we like to use yolks, which is why we call it yolkerole. We may use a few whole eggs in there, and the reason for that is the yolks are where all the nutrients are. Pro tip, when you're eating eggs, always eat the egg yolk, especially the egg yolk. And when people have sensitivities to eggs, a lot of times it's in the egg whites and some anti-nutrients in the egg whites. Although some people are sensitive to chicken eggs, sometimes that's a quality issue. So if you upgrade to organic or pasture raised, you don't see those same issues. And you can also try like some duck eggs or something like that. So anyway, we cooked the chorizo, blended up the egg yolks. We've mixed in a little bit of goat cheese, some marinara sauce. Pro tip, always check the ingredients on the marinara sauce because a lot of them have soybean oil, some other crappy oils in it. Mixed it all together, poured it in a dish, and then sprinkled some goat cheese on top. And there you have the dairy-free pizza yolkerole. Wait, yolkerole pizza? Pizza yolkerole with goat cheese.